Hello everyone, to tell the story of Xinjiang, China, the Tongtian stone man. The story begins with a stone sculpture, which stands in a wilderness at the foot of the Altai mountains. It is unknown that she has stood here for thousands of years. Today, the Kazakhs, Uyghurs, Mongolians and other ethnic groups living in the Altai region do not have the custom of erecting stone figures among modern people here. However, this stone figure has a mysterious guardian. This guardian is called Amira. She was originally a herdsman on the grassland. One day, Amira came to this wasteland and found hundreds of black stones of various sizes on the wasteland. Knocking on these black stones will make a metallic sound, and Amira suddenly stops leaving. She wants to take her family to settle here and end her nomadic life. They want to protect these black stones, because according to ancient grassland legends, these metal-like black stones are aliens from the sky, messengers sent by the gods millions of years ago. Whoever discovers them will undoubtedly be selected. People should stop and guard these black stones, and the gods will bring them luck and peace. Sure enough, 3 years later, a road newly built in 2008 passed through Amira's hometown not far away, and an endless stream of tourists came to visit these black stones. Relying on the income from ticket sales, Amira built a new house and lived a happier life. And she is constantly exploring the secrets behind these black stones from myths and legends, hoping to be a better tour guide and better guardian. Amira said that according to the legend she compiled, these black stones fell from the sky a long time ago. When it fell, it was like a huge fireball scorching the earth. When it was about to hit the ground, the black stone exploded into countless small fragments scattered on the ground. Later, with the wind and sun, some black stones were buried deeply underground, and some black stones that had been buried underground were exposed again, so these black stones became ghosts on the grassland. Legend has it that they will get good luck. In later years, some ancient tribes collected these black stones and carved symbols and even human faces on them. But later this ancient tradition disappeared, leaving only the custom of carving stone figures on the grassland. This custom was inherited by the early prairie people, but they no longer use black stones for carvings, but replaced them with ordinary stones. Later, these prairie people also declined and disappeared on the grassland. To this day, the grassland people no longer have the custom of carving stone figures, leaving only the legend about black stones. The grassland people call these black stones with human faces carved into them the sky, bearing stone may. Prairie people believe that this is the oldest shaman sacred object in the grassland, symbolizing communication with gods and heaven. But there are also some different grassland legends. In this legend, these black stones are unlucky killing stones. It turns out that there were tough imperial warriors on the grassland. Before their death, they would order their subordinates to carve a stone man like themselves. After their death, the stone figure would stand where she was buried. Accompanying these stone figures are many ordinary stone pieces without carvings. They will also be buried in a circular area not far from the stone figure. Each piece buried represents each person the samurai killed during his lifetime. An enemy. An expert once used this legend to explain the ancient stone pile of the Pyramid Mountain in Heisei that we introduced in the last issue. In other words, the millions of stone pieces in Shanhazi ancient stone pile represent that the grassland overlord who built it once killed a corresponding number of enemies. A stone pile represents a tribe's achievements, which also explains why there are dozens or hundreds of stone piles in Shanhazi. The Shanhazi ancient stone pile is an extremely ancient grassland sacrifice, and this explanation can also be corroborated with the archaeological discoveries of the Shanhazi stone pile. During the archaeological excavation of the Shanhazi stone pile in 2016, it was discovered that there were many crushed human bones at the foundation of the stone pile. Obviously, the Shanhazi stone pile is not a tomb, but some kind of ancient sacrificial temple. DNA analysis and age determination of these human bones are still under study. Is this explanation reasonable? Apparently, it has a fatal flaw. There are millions of stone pieces in the ancient stone piles of mountains and seas. What was the world's population 3 to 5,000 years ago? Either this is an exaggeration or something else is said. To explore this issue, we then listen to the legend of the prairie people. These grassland peoples who pile killing stones in front of their tombs are not that far away from the present era. They learned this custom from an older grassland overlord. This older steppe overlord once gave up his nomadic life and settled down to farming. There are still carvings of sickles on these stone figures. The sickle is a tool rarely used by grassland peoples, but it is an essential tool for settled farmers to harvest food. The legend goes on to say that this ancient grassland overlord was punished by God for trying to turn the grassland into farmland. So God sent these black stones down to earth to destroy them. Sharing the story here, we seem to be able to intuitively summarize the following points from the legend. First, the black stone is an ancient meteor shower. Second, the meteorite rain may have destroyed an ancient grassland nation, and they may be the owners of the Shanhazi stone pile. Third, along these black stones you can find the owner of Shanhazi stone pile and the secret behind Dumi Kingdom. Fourth, all the above speculations must be established. The most fundamental question is whether there has ever been a devastating meteor shower in Altai, Xinjiang, going back 120 years ago. In 1890, a Xinjiang herdsman discovered a large piece of silver in Kinch County, where the Shanhazi stone pile is located. She was found lying on the Gobi Desert, looking like a camel, so the local herdsman gave her a name, Silver Camel. At that time, the herdsman worshipped it as a huge black stone and lived in peace with it. It was not until more than 40 years later that the local warlord learned of the existence of the Silver Camel and began to covet this treasure. It is said that the then Xinjiang warlord Chen Shike initially sent a small team of more than a dozen people to cut the Silver Camel into small pieces with sledgehammers and hacksaws before moving it away. However, the small team came back soon and reported that it could not be cut. Chen Shike didn't believe it and rushed to the scene with his soldiers to supervise the work. Sure enough, the soldiers burned it with coking coal for several days, but the Silver Camel showed no sign of melting. Then the soldiers blasted with explosives though, but the Silver Camel still didn't move at all. Instead, the ground collapsed, causing the Silver Camel to sink deeper and deeper. Later, scientific researchers figured out that the Silver Camel weighed 30 tons and was a whole meteorite. It was the third largest meteorite in the world and the largest in China. IDT. 6% of meteorites are iron-9, 27 are nickel, as well as Aries, silver, copper, silicon and other elements, as well as 6 kinds of cosmic minerals that are not found on the Earth. In 1967, the Silver Camel was transported to Urakmi, Xinjiang, China, and is now stored in front of the Xinjiang Geology and Minerals Museum. In 2004 and 2005, a 430-kilogram meteorite and a 35-kilogram iron meteorite were discovered in the Altai region. In 2011, 2 more iron meteorites of 5 tons and 18 tons were discovered. In 2016, the Planetary Institute of the Chinese Academy of Sciences and the University of California collaborated to reveal the true identity of these iron meteorites. They both belong to an ancient asteroid. This asteroid exploded 50 to 100 kilometers away from the ground, forming a 425-kilometer-long meteorite rain in the Altai region of Xinjiang. This was a devastating event. Meteorite rain that wipes out the Earth. After consulting relevant information, we found that ordinary meteorites usually fall within a range of several kilometers to dozens of kilometers. For example, the Chelyabinsk meteorite shower in Russia in 2013 injured 1/100 people, and the length of the meteorite zone was only 20 kilometers. The largest meteorite shower in modern times, the Jilin meteorite shower in 1970, was only 70 kilometers long, previously recognized as the world's largest meteorite shower. Namibia's basic meteorite shower is 275 kilometers, while the Altai meteorite shower is 425 kilometers, which shows how powerful it is. What's more, the Altai meteorite shower is a rare iron meteorite, which is lethal more powerful. According to scientists' calculations, if the asteroid did not explode in the air, but hit the ground directly, it is global. The destruction caused by this state may be comparable to that of the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs 60 million years ago. But this raises 2 new questions. First, why is such a large meteorite rain not recorded in history, and there are no clues even in the ancient local rock paintings? Second, why does such a hard iron meteorite explode strangely at low altitude? Scientists' explanation is that first, there is no record, which indicates that this meteorite rain may have occurred before human civilization. Scientists don't know why there was a low-altitude explosion. Since scientists can't explain it, we continue to explore this secret through legends and myths. Everyone must know an urban legend, that is, the video of the low-altitude asteroid explosion in Chelyabinsk in 2013 was recorded by many netizens using driving recorders. The meteorite was hit by a UFO traveling at a speed of Mach 80 to Mach 100 and exploded. It is speculated that there may be a group of advanced civilizations secretly protecting human beings, or protecting the Earth's ecology. They may be aliens, or they may be dinosaurs from underground. Could it be that the Altai meteorite rain in ancient times was also an action taken by an advanced civilization to crush asteroids and protect mankind? Is it true that this ancient disaster happened before human civilization and was not recorded by humans as scientists say? Maybe not. Such enthusiasts say that the record of this disaster is exactly what each of us should know. It is said that Noah mended the sky. Continuing from the story in the previous issue, Foxy and Noah created ethnic groups around the Altai Mountains, which are rich in gold resources. By more than 5,000 years ago, this ethnic group had developed into a very powerful settled kingdom, with enough material and manpower to complete grand projects like Senahaisi. As a result, one day the gods in the tribe, namely Foxy and Noah, calculated that an asteroid was about to hit this land. It was inevitable that if it was not crushed, half of the earth would be destroyed after it hits the ground. No one can escape, that even if it is crushed, the meteor shower will destroy their home. What's even more unfortunate is that this asteroid is very hard and extremely fast, and the God Lord is not 100% sure of crushing it, so they made a decision to divide the tribe into 3 parts. The first part is mainly about the gods headed by Noah. They stay in the country and try to get rid of this asteroid and minimize its destructive power. The second part is to evacuate to the surrounding safe area, and wait to come back and rebuild your home after the disaster. The third part is to move further in the direction to ensure 100% safety, explore a new home and prepare for the worst if the operation fails. On the day when the disaster finally came as expected, everyone saw a fireball flying high in the sky, just like the sun falling. Then they saw the Noah aircraft flying in the direction of their homeland, heading towards this place. A falling sun flew away. Soon, there was a loud noise in the sky, and countless fireballs hit the ground at high speed, as if a big hole had been opened in the sky, and all the stars in the sky fell to the ground. In the eyes of the people involved in this disaster, the gods flew into the sky without hesitation to plug the big hole in the sky that kept falling stars. In this disaster, the goddesses of the gods paid a huge sacrifice, but the extent of the disaster exceeded their expectations. Almost all the first group of gods were sacrificed, and most of the second group of humans were also sacrificed. The people who survived the disaster returned to their hometown, and they desperately needed the comfort of the spiritual world. But at this time, the gods have already demonstrated that a strong spokesperson has appeared in the world. The spokesman began to use religion to control everyone's spiritual world. As a result of this mind control, everyone devoted a lot of energy to religious activities, so they devoutly built the huge piles of Sandahaisi. Perhaps today's grassland legend is true. The number of poems written by Sandahosi represents how many sacrifices they have made. The fear of sacrifice made them perform religious prayers their day and night, and religion became a drug for them to anesthetize themselves. This originally powerful and advanced tribe also became weaker and weaker, and eventually disappeared on the grassland and leaving only one name, the One-Eyed Country. Fortunately, the third group of them walked a long way to Shandong. They integrated the legend of Duma Kingdom into the 2 oracle bones of Shu and Bai. She and the others were Silkworm of Shu and Xiaoho of Dongji. As we said in the last issue, they eventually integrated completely with the local tribes and became a part of the blood of each of us today. Maybe one day we will be able to find an ancient rock painting under the pyramid of Sandahosi stone pile. The rock painting depicts the scene of the one-eyed people flying to the fallen stars. These brave one-eyed people may be the ones who created us and sacrificed themselves. The Noah tribe.